This is Taking Stock on Bloomberg. I'm Pim Fox. All right, a research firm study states that global private tutoring market is projected to surpass $103 billion. That's by 2018. Now, a company called Tutor has set itself up to benefit from this trend. Over the past 5 years, the company has expanded from just 2 countries to 15 and over 15,000 tutors. Tutor Doctor's Vice President of International Franchise Development, Rogelio Martinez, joins me here in New York. Rogelio, thank you very much for being here. How do you describe Tutor Doctor?
Tutor Doctor offers supplementary education services one-to-one and at home. We fully personalize the program for each of our students, work with tutors that are professionally trained so they adapt to the learning style of each student and work at the rhythm of the student, which is not exactly the same as the rhythm of the class, because some students can fall behind or some students are too sharp and they go ahead of the class and they get unmotivated if they are not intellectually challenged at class.
Where do the tutors get their training?
We have an orientation program. It's an online training where tutors learn how to discover the learning style of each student and then how to work based on the specific needs. So they become like mini project managers, and we work not only on the flavor of the homework of the day, as most independent tutors work, but we plan a short, medium, and long-term plan to take the student to the ultimate goals.
How do you vet the credentials of each of these individual tutors? How do you know that their academic credentials or their teaching ability is accurate?
We have a very demanding process. We start with an online filter, so we check the applications online. Then we actually have a face-to-face interview. Most of these independent tutors, they are only vetted by themselves and they start posting ads that they are independent tutors. But with us, we train our franchisees on how to interview, what questions to ask, what answers they want to hear. Then we check the academic credentials and referrals, and then we get a mandatory background check to make sure that we have a good tutor.
Now, the franchisees, those that have adopted this model, where do they come from? What industries, what backgrounds do they have?
Very interesting question, Pim. Most people would think they come from education. Actually, 83% of our franchisees do not come from education. They are people that want to be financially independent. They want to own their own business, and they are often tired of the corporate world. They decide to join Tutor Doctor as they don't need to have education background.
Now, what kind of territory would you get as a franchisee? Can you buy a geographical region? Would you buy a specific age group? How do you know what is the best fit?
We have geographic territories. They typically have about 100,000 in population. That represents 20 to 25,000 19 years old and under. And we operate in, as you mentioned, 15 countries. So in developing countries, we might have a little bit of a different territory structure, but that's mostly the way we operate.
Now, you described how you vet the various tutors. You use an online process for that. What about the actual tutoring sessions? Are they one-to-one in person, or are those also online?
Great question. About 92% of our service is actually face-to-face at the home of the student. But it's important to mention that not only we teach children, we also teach adults and seniors, and very few companies actually focus on seniors. So 92% is at home, and the other 8% we tap into our virtual network.
Can you describe the different demand for each of the different levels and what you're seeing in terms of what's the most popular subjects?
Yeah, it's about 85% is school-age children, and then the other 15% gets distributed between adults and seniors. About from these 85%, about 43% comes from elementary school kids.
Elementary school children. So is this designed to pass a certain test, or is it to demonstrate certain types of proficiency so that they can then enter more fast-paced or more rigorous educational institutions?
Very good. Well, we work on the different objectives of each student. Sometimes we need to rebuild confidence with the student. Sometimes we need to take a student to the best university or not fail the school year. So we teach all subjects and all ages, so we are going to first do a consultation to uncover what the student needs and what the family aspirations are. Then we are going to design a custom program for each student. So it could be entry exams, or it could be just passing the next exam.
What's the cost involved?
Typically in the United States, we charge about $55 an hour, which is premium service, but not at premium price. And we work on packages of hours based on the student needs. Sometimes we work for 2 months, a 24-hour program of 48 hours for the next 5 months, depending on the student needs.
Now, you mentioned that you've got 15,000 tutors that are part of the whole franchise business of this. Are you seeing any turnover? How many of those people leave on a regular basis to be supplemented by new tutors?
Well, we have a very good interview process, so we try to see tutors that actually would enjoy or are looking to help people. So yes, we have a turnover as in any other industry, but with our type of interview, we avoid high turnover, so it's very optimal the way we do it.
I want to thank you very much for joining me. Rogelio Martinez joining me from Tutor Doctor.